Getting harassed for criticizing Beijing, facing protests for supporting free speech. You think that's normal in China, but it's actually happening in the U.S. And today's Iris Tao brings us more behind a seemingly independent student protests on an American college campus.
The president of Purdue University is asking those who suppress free speech on behalf of Beijing to continue their education elsewhere. This comes after a Chinese student criticized the Chinese Communist Party online. He was then allegedly harassed by other students from China on campus, who threatened to report him to the Chinese authorities. But now, an online petition with over 1,000 signatures is protesting President Mitch Daniels' criticism of the alleged harassers. They say it's xenophobic and targeting everyone of Chinese nationality.
I don't want them to collect my information and report to Chinese government.
Tao Ge, who uses a pseudonym, is a Purdue University alumnus who's an outspoken online critic of the CCP. He says he fears being identified by the regime if he shows his face. By showing conversations in the Chinese student chat group that he's in, Ge says the petition is part of Beijing's long arm.
These type of things looks like independent. It looks like from a single Chinese students, but it's not.
He says it started and circulated by a group called CSSA, or the Chinese Students and Scholars Association at Purdue University.
They are controlled by Chinese government, and they are the people who control, who like monitor the Chinese students in the U.S. and see if they said something against the CCP.
A 2020 report by the State Department says there are 150 CSSA chapters on U.S. campuses. It says they're created and overseen by the Chinese regime. The purpose is to monitor Chinese students and mobilize them against views that dissent from the CCP's stance. Meanwhile, Ge points out the petition uses a narrative commonly used by Beijing to divert attention.
So it's nothing about the racial discrimination, but they want to mix everything together and just let you cannot focus on the topic itself.
President Daniels says those who harassed the outspoken student Zhi Haokong will face disciplinary action. He also criticizes Beijing sending secret police to threaten Kong's families in China. While the Chinese student group is protesting over Daniels' words, Ge says he appreciates the president's effort.
He tried to protect his students, his Chinese students who speak something in the U.S., and he also protects the freedom of speech in the campus in Purdue University.
Meanwhile, a different petition is calling for Purdue University to expel the students who allegedly harassed Kong. It's collected about 20,000 signatures. And Ge hopes more students like Kong can stay unintimidated and freely speak their minds in the U.S.
So don't be afraid for that. So just stand up and just support what is true, support the right thing and against the CCP.
Ge also calls for the U.S. to further restrict student groups that act on behalf of the Chinese regime on American campuses. Iris Tao, NTD News.